Once you know that help is on its way, you can proceed to step 3, which is to give naloxone. All of Marchese Healthcare's naloxone kits are prepared right here in Hamilton, Ontario. All of our injectable kits are found in black cases, and all of our nasal spray kits are found in blue cases. Injectable naloxone has several advantages. 1. It's been shown to be stable after freezing and thawing. Also, after being exposed to temperatures as high as 80 degrees Celsius and being cooled to body temperature, it's still stable. Secondly, it is predictably absorbed 100%, which is not the case necessarily for the nasal spray. Number 3, it may be safer to be used in neonates or infants and pregnant women than the nasal spray version. And 4, it is a fraction of the cost currently of the nasal spray. Because this is a publicly funded program and our tax dollars are paying for this intervention, we can stretch our tax dollars a lot further if we're willing to use the injectable form. Yes, it's true, the injectable form is a little bit more difficult to handle than the nasal spray. But I'm going to show you a rock-solid technique that will make it easy for you and you'll be very comfortable handling the syringe. All of Marchese's injectable naloxone kits contain 2 doses of naloxone, 2 safety syringes, a CPR face shield with a one-way valve, 2 alcohol swabs, a 5-step reminder card, and a signs and symptoms card, in addition to a pair of non-latex nitrile gloves. Start by putting on your gloves. Then identify where you want to perform the injection on the victim. The 2 choices you have are the deltoid muscle, which is in the upper arm, the same place you would receive your flu shot or your COVID shot, or the outer thigh, the same place you might administer an EpiPen or an epinephrine injection. The choice is up to you. It doesn't really matter. And you don't need to necessarily remove the victim's clothing in order to perform the injection. Make sure there's no keys or wallet or hard material in their pockets or any embroidered emblem on their sleeve that might impede the needle's progress. Otherwise, the needle should go through clothing just fine. You don't need to remove the victim's clothing in order to administer the injection. Next, take 1 vial of naloxone out of the bag and pop off the top. Then take one of the safety syringes and peel it open. Using the plunger, draw 1 cc of air into the syringe. The upper black ring should line up with the 1 on the syringe. Then, holding the syringe like a dart, carefully uncap the syringe. Then, holding the vial in one hand, take the tip of the needle and carefully insert it into the middle of the rubber port on the top of the vial. Push the needle in all the way, flip it over, and hold the barrel of the syringe in one hand and the plunger of the syringe in your other hand. The needle should just be at the very bottom of the vial neck above the syringe. Push the plunger all the way up so that the air enters the vial. Then pull the plunger down, drawing the liquid back into the syringe. Repeat this process of pushing up the air, pulling out the liquid, pushing up the air, pulling out the liquid, until all of the liquid has emptied out of the vial and is in the barrel of the syringe. Make sure the tip of the needle is as low as it can be in the neck of the vial. This will help to ensure that all of the liquid is drawn out. Don't spend a lot of time taking every last drop out. As long as you've got the majority of it, you're good. Then carefully remove the syringe with a deliberate motion, separating it from the vial. Set the vial aside. Holding the syringe perfectly vertical with the needle tip pointed up, push any air that's in the syringe out until there's only liquid remaining inside. At this point, there might be tiny bubbles stuck at the bottom of the syringe. Then use your finger to flick the syringe so that the tiny bubbles at the bottom rise to the top. Pull down and then push up so that all the bubbles leave the syringe and there's no more air left inside, making sure there's only liquid inside the syringe. Don't spend a lot of time getting out every last bubble. Tiny champagne bubbles are fine. We're going to be injecting into a muscle, and little bubbles like that don't make any difference. To locate the deltoid muscle, place your first finger on the end of your shoulder bone. There should be a little groove there. Place your second finger beside that and your third finger beside that. That represents the upper part of the deltoid muscle. There or just below it is a perfect spot for you to administer the naloxone injection. Alternatively, because the deltoid muscle is in the shape of a triangle, you can use your fingers in a V and Press it against the upper arm of the victim. That might help you display where that triangle muscle is. Then just put your needle right into the middle of that. Ideally, you use the thumb of your non-syringe hand to slightly stretch the skin above the muscle. Then insert the needle and push in the injection. Now we're pretending this is the muscle. Okay, then the needle goes in all the way, all right? And then with the thumb on the plunger, we're going to push that liquid in. At the very end, we're going to give an extra push with our thumb, which retracts the needle inside of the syringe. Because the needle has retracted into the center of the syringe, now you nor anyone else is going to be exposed to anything that the victim had inside of their body. Massage the naloxone into the arm and then count for 10 seconds. If you choose the thigh muscle instead, locate the top of the muscle just at the groin and the bottom of the muscle just above the kneecap. Divide that muscle into roughly equal thirds. The middle third is where you want to give the injection, just on the slightly outer aspect, the same place you would give an EpiPen. In the case of intranasal naloxone, all of Marchese's nasal spray kits are found in blue cases to readily distinguish them from the injectables. Inside, there are 2 doses of nasal spray. Take one out, peel off the foil, and remove the insert. Take out the device and hold it in your fingers. Fingers on either side, thumb on the bottom. Remember, there's a single dose in there. This is not like any other nasal spray where you have to prime it or get it ready or test it. Do not test it, you will lose the dose. Insert the nozzle fully into the victim's nostril, such that your fingers touch their nostril, and then give a firm, quick push on the plunger, which will deliver the nasal spray dose into the victim's nasal passage. Then, the same way as you would for the injectable, you will observe the victim for 10 seconds and look for signs of recovery. If the victim is not recovering, then you will proceed to step 4, which is to perform rescue breathing and/or chest compressions.